and welcome to Life Lessons for a Time Such as Now. Today, as always, I have with me Tracy and
Hi.
Crystal.
Hello.
So we just thought that we would do an episode, and the name of it is Reflections. And it's funny because we have a few. And so I'm going to start with welcome everybody. And we want you to please share, click share, and also subscribe to Life Lessons. And part of this show is just to really thank everyone that has been listening and to let you know that we know that you've been listening and we appreciate it. But as we go back, of course, and Tracy said thank you, and we review. I just want to say my favorite, and it's not, it's a couple of them that are. Um, but I love the history of finding out the stories about each other. And so that I'll just, pause on that one because I want to reiterate one story. But, we all pretty much grew up together. And so when we did the life lessons, the lies you tell yourself, that's one of my favorites. And it's because for me, it's when we really got the momentum like going, like you really got to see something that Tracy says behind the scene, our authentic selves, right? So and it's kind of, good to go back. It's one of my favorites because some of the things that we talked about, even though they're endearing to us and not very funny, I think we really touched on a good portion of some of our journey. And so to me, based on the message of what we want to do with Life Lessons as a podcast and reaching everyone that's listening and then to the world, whoever would listen, that is my favorite because you kind of get the sense of like why this podcast began, like how we came to be and understanding. Some of it was based on the lies we tell ourselves, that we weren't strong or we weren't beautiful. You heard in the stories. And to me, it was just such a sense of pride and also giving us a kind of a in the world, they say, you know what, you get a stamp of approval. Well, we know today that we don't need that stamp of approval. So to me, that's one of my favorites is because of that, So I don't know. The ladies probably have for themselves one of the favorites, but I'll let them tell it. And then I'll come back and tell my little jokey joke. Chris and
Well,
Tracy, what y'all think?
well, I do. I definitely agree with you. The lies we tell ourselves. Yeah, that was one
Oh,
of my favorites because I believe all across the world, we all can relate to that one, right? Because we're all telling lies to ourselves. It's
mm,
easier to live if we tell ourselves some of those lies, right? It's
mm,
easier to stay with someone if we continue to tell ourselves lies, right? It's easier to justify because that's basically
mm,
what it is,
mm,
right? So it's easy to justify why you do the things that you do.
mm,
It definitely hit home for me because we continue to tell lies to ourselves and we tell lies throughout our lives. And I believe I truly believe that is a survival mechanism,
mm,
right? That's one of the ways that we can survive because it kind of keeps us from feeling the ultimate pain, right? Pain that we may feel if we tell ourselves the truth. So, like when we were talking about the men, and I thought, Renee, your story was hilarious.
Anybody Bob?
Um, I thought it was hilarious, but it was true. And once you get to sit down by yourself, right? You sit down by yourself, that's when the truth comes to you.
Mm,
And when you're ready to accept it, that's when change occurs.
nice.
What do you think,
Very
Chris?
sad. Very well said.
Well, me on a lighter note, since we're serious, I liked my favorite episode was how do we manage our self-care?
Mm,
Because through all the things that we go through,
That's a good one.
yeah, and I liked it because it was light, it was funny, because after all of the things that we go through and all of the stuff that we carry and all the things that we have to go through, sometimes in the midst of all of that, we forget to care for ourselves. So that's why I like that one, the things that we do to to relieve ourselves from our stress or whatever it is that we're going through, because it's very important that we take time out for ourselves, to be by ourselves, or to shut in with ourselves and the Lord, or just with ourselves, to
Mhm.
exhale. You know what I mean? So that was my favorite episode, because we really have to remember to do that. Um, because if we don't take care of ourselves, who's going to take care of us?
That is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree. And it is such when you think about the reflections, I'm thinking about like also, like the beginning. It's you have a beginning and you have, an ending to all things. And Tracy said something, we get comfortable, right? In some of those lies that we tell ourselves. And so for me, when it's like a stamp of like, here we are, world, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not telling ourselves these lies. We're not living out these lies. We're not going to
Mhm.
accept these lies, right? And so, going around in my world, and of course, when I sit with the Lord, and I'm like, wow, you know what? I had that lie told to me for so long, and I love it because in another episode, I'm sure we'll discuss this. But when you start, letting some of those icky feelings, because to me it doesn't feel good. It's like really icky and yucky feeling. But yeah, something that you said, Tracy, but when you sit and you am able to get that truth and let that truth be, your newfound truth, right? This is where you are today. It is an amazing place. And I think, yes, Crystal, then that's when you have to take care of yourself, right? Because, imagine all of that grudge and and guilt that's been placed on you in life, whatever's happened. And then we don't take care of ourselves. We're so busy taking care of other folks and our lives and work and doing more than we are even expected to do, above and beyond. I know that's me. I do way above and beyond. And that's how courage to change actually was actually founded, is because it does take a lot of courage to do that and to do that change, and it's so uncomfortable. But if you take care of yourself, and that was what I was saying with some of the bloopers, I wish that we could do that. We was talking about that and this being a reflection, but the chair, right? And you being, what did you say? Like Chris said, that Tracy, and you was on a excursion going out, and you wouldn't leave time. And how you was like, no, I'm going. And it's amazing because I could literally see you like as a young Crystal, like adamant, knowing how to get what you want. And I think that is a great attribute, to have, to stay focused, in one regard. It's like, you know what, no, I'm not leaving. And it's funny. But then when I sat back and I read, I watched the episode, and I was saying to myself, like, in that episode of avoidance I'm talking about, how that was pretty amazing. Like how, how you can protect ourselves. I think that is another one that was my favorite too, was because I think what has happened, well, at least in my life, I've been able to do that really good. You know what? I shut down, I run, pewing them out, right? Because I don't want to feel nothing, right? I don't want to feel, I don't want to be um made to feel any type of way. So that hurt and pain, that I think that what Tracy's talking about, when especially, throughout my life, I know that um there's been some avoidance too. So I think that if I had to look like in a deeper level to see, that probably be, if I reflected, that would probably be like my number two, right? Because that is a psychological term. It's an actual diagnosis. And so when we do that, we know that that's a protective factor, right? So that is how you can sit for so long with the lies. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of avoiding it. Makes
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, yeah, it does. And yeah, that was one of the funnier stories
Hmm.
to tell about Crystal and Tyrone when it came down to avoidance. And even though it was funny, and yes, she was strong in
Hmm.
what she wanted and what she wanted to do. But I'm still gonna stand tall on that. Like that's still a part of avoidance, right? Because you don't want to hear what someone is telling you,
Mm.
right? You're going to just stay where you are and not accept or listen to what someone is telling you. Because if someone's saying, don't go, I don't want you to go, and you're saying, I don't care, then that's really avoiding the fact that this person said, I don't want you to go. Right. So that was my take on that.
Right.
It was definitely funny. She ended up going anyway. So she did get what she want. Um, so and that can go hand in hand, right? And go hand in hand because she's going straight with it, but yet it was still avoidance, right? You can't forget that part. And that's okay. And the whole night ended up being well. Um, one of my second ones, and I believe second and third, is who we are and our purpose, because
Mm,
that set the ground, right? That
mhm.
set the ground. That showed people we was like, hey, here we are, we out here, see us, um, for who we are, right? And the good, bad, the ugly, the indifferent, right? That's what makes us all individuals, and unique people. I love the purpose because the purpose is not about us, right? It's not about us at all. It's really about just touching and relating to the people out in the world. And so those are my other favorite episodes, and then you see us chuckling and really just showing um, just the connection and, the relationship between us three.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. I like the beginning too, the intro, um, where we shared a little bit about ourselves and the purpose of the podcast. Um, because in all that we do, being spiritual women, it may not start out as in our minds as a ministry, but because we are spiritual women, it becomes just that. Because in every conversation that we have amongst each other, God somewhere comes up in the mix. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I mean,
Right,
it's not even, it's just there. And it's not that it's planned. It's just that's, what our makeup is. And for that, God has a purpose for us. And we're here sharing our story. And the word says that people will be saved by our testimonies.
right.
So by us sharing our stories, we are hoping and praying that whatever it is that we're sharing with you all out there, that you can relate to one of our stories or all of our stories. And again, to understand and know that you're not alone. And sometimes when you can see that, that is the first step to healing, to understanding that, hey, I'm not alone. He
Mm,
just feel the same way I feel. Oh yeah, I saw this. Yes, I've been there. Yes, 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 yes.
right.
You know what I mean?
Say
So
that.
yeah, so that is our purpose. So we hope that you all are getting something out of this and that you're subscribing to our podcast. And we want you to give us your comments and ask questions so we can answer them, or even you can even share your own point of views about things that has happened in your life that we can openly discuss one of your topics or something that you has given us that we can talk about and reflect on it for you all.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because when I look and I see the views that we've had and all of it from the journey of how when beginning um of life lessons for a time such as now has begun, um all the way up to the last episode, there's feedback. And so yeah, I agree with Crystal that there in that purpose of speaking out to the world and to folks that are listening, and it is, a few times I did go and I was able to take myself out of it, looking at it as if I was just a viewer. And when I looked and I was able to see, through different lenses, it was like, wow, the stories are funny. Like Tracy said, there's connection, then there's the seriousness, and those stories are all true. Just so y'all know, they're not
Mhm.
fabricated. They're hot off the press. We don't do takes and redo do overs and shows. These are straight off, first time running. And giving a shout out to our producer and our director of our mechanics and our podcast and how He does that. QC is in the behind the scenes, making sure that we all look well, and that is a huge reflection. And shout out to him for that, because
Yes.
without him being our producer and director of the scenes and our podcast, and the filming and making sure that we are on, and you guys are able to hit the subscribe and make sure you share, right, with our reflections at this time. We are happy because that's showing just another support. And we love him, and he's our nephew, and Tracy's beautiful, very, very strong son. And so we're grateful for that, because even in the behind the scenes, we're touching lives, and even in that way. And so we're happy, because when we get your feedback, we get that, and we get it from all the scenes, like from everything, from what we could do better. So it's like what Crystal's saying: if you have any questions, if you want to know something more, if you want to, learn a topic, whatever it is, because we're also here not just to share with you, but we want you to share with us. It's a conversation. We want you to feel like, in this reflection, this is what this is about. It's from us to you, so that that we're listening to your responses as well. Amen.
Yes.
And also, we do live and walk out this life, like in a very spiritual way and a very prayerful way. And admonishing God is first and head of our lives. And I can say that very freely. So we just pray and hope that, somewhere, even if it's one person, that will come to know God in a real way. But we want to make sure that we also discuss other things too. So that's why we're here reflecting today. Right, ladies?
Amen.
Keeping
Amen.
it
I
real.
agree with that. I agree with that.
Amen.
Jesus met people where they were,
Mm.
right? Jesus met you where you are, and if you don't know him, he's right there. All you got to do is call his name. We don't come on here and beat you over the head with scriptures, or beat you over the head saying that we're Christians, or, we don't, sit here and discuss that. But what we talk about is the life that we walked, right? The life that we are walking, and the
Mm-hmm.
lessons that we've learned from that walk. And
Mm-hmm.
part of that walk is Jesus Christ. And so
Amen.
we are going to speak about Jesus, right, throughout some of the topics and conversations. However, we're talking about life lessons through our walk. And so, it's going to be just three women, and sometimes some guests coming on and talking about and sharing our unique and organic stories, so that if it does touch one person, if it does make you feel like, wow, I am not alone. I believe Crystal said that, or Renee, I'm not really sure who said it, but it's
Okay.
true, because if we can touch one, then all of the things that we've been through in our lives wasn't in
Mm.
vain,
Right.
Amen.
because the mission is to relate to you. The mission is, that if going through something and you feel, okay, no one understands, you can hear us say, no, we've already been there, right? Or we're
Mm.
going through it, because we're going to talk about current things too, not just past.
Right.
The current struggles. We're going to talk about all of that. And that's the great thing about life lessons for a time such as now, because we're not
Mm-hmm.
talking about, well, back in the day, when our parents was little. We're talking about us. We're talking about when we began our own journey, right? And how it connected. Therefore, now it can possibly connect to you.
Right.
So that's the most exciting thing for all three of us, is that we can just share. I know I've heard a few people, I believe, who said, wow, I'm so proud of you guys that you're able, to open up as much as you do to the world. And I said, that's the point. That's the point. The point is to open up to the world. So as Renee and Crystal would say, like, wink, wink, share, wink, wink, and if it definitely touched you, if you have a question, don't hesitate to put a comment in. We're open to positive feedback. A negative, don't get crazy though with the
Please,
negative. You can
Right.
please.
be no, because if it is
Right.
right, they say, well, you know what, guys, you need to do this or that, then that's fine. But don't get crazy with it,
Be
because then
kind.
it's got to be deleted. It's going to be
Right.
deleted. It's crazy. But if you are seriously open to ask us questions, right? We will answer them. As we're doing the reflection episode, we'll do a Q&A episode. So definitely ask us questions. Definitely leave your comments. We really appreciate the comments that you have put in there.
Yes.
I think that it gives us the gas, if you will,
Yes.
to keep going. It gives us the momentum to keep going because we know that you guys are listening and it reached someone.
Yes. Agreed.
Yes. Thirdly agreed. And another thing I just want to add on about doing this, it's not always easy to share things, to be this open, but because we're serious about this mission and this vision, that we're willing to open up the book on our lives. And I'm sure it's going to get a lot deeper than it has been, you know what I mean? Because it's serious. It's really serious. Because we really want to help someone become healed,
Wow.
and to become whole. Life is not easy, but we can still make it through it if you have the correct and right mindset.
Nice.
We hope and we also pray that this will be that for you, to help you get over the hump, to help you get over to the other side of life, and knowing that you make a difference. You do matter. How you
Yes.
feel does matter. What you think does matter, no matter how anyone else view you. So you do matter and you do make a difference. So we love you all for
Thank
coming on and viewing us. Continue to do so. Do not forget to subscribe, need your support,
Yes.
like, and all these things that we're talking about, and also share which episode is your favorite thus far.
Nice.
So we really love you and enjoy you for just being with us. And hopefully, as you learn from us, we can learn from you as well.
Nice.
Ooh, that was good, girl.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
good. Okay, then.
Yes. I like that.
Okay, then, girl.
Nicely done.
Ladies, do we have
Okay.
anything else we would like to share?
I'm good. I think you capped that one off very lovely, and I appreciate that, Chris, in a lot of ways. We just love you, and yeah, I second the motion. We definitely want to learn as we go along with you in this journey. And thank you all for watching.
Wow. I'm over here just smiling.
Yes.
Like,
Please.
okay. I was feeling that for a minute.
Yeah,
I
this
was
is the real
feeling it. I
us,
said,
y'all. That's
okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Reflecting
We
and
on it.
laughing. All right.
Yes, let's own it. Yes. The
I
healing,
love
the
it. Oh,
restoration, all of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For ourselves
Yes.
too, you know what I mean?
yes,
All
Yes,
right.
only for ourselves too. So
Absolutely. Yep.
absolutely.
Sure.
Well, it's not just to, be on here, and of course, yes, sharing our life lessons, but, people will begin to see us unfold in our own lives, right? In real time.
Right.
So you're going to see us maybe going through some stuff, right?
Right.
In real time, because this is authentic. What you see is what it is. This is not, we're not actors, and this is the real deal. So, we, along with you, we're going to walk through this thing together, right? We're going to walk through this thing called life together, right? And
Nice.
I'm so excited for
Nice.
us to be a part of your life as well. I'm very excited about it. Again, we can't say it enough. Please click like and subscribe and share it. Share it with people. If you feel that it touched your heart and your spirit and you want someone else to get a part of it, definitely share with them and ask them to do the same. Okay, because we're out here and we're not going nowhere. Okay, this is only going to get better. If you have any comments, please hit it below and feel free to talk about it, and we will share it with you as well. You are a part of our family now.
Nice.
Okay, and so until the next time, we thank you for viewing. We thank you for your support. We thank you for your listening ear. And we thank you for being a part of life lessons for a time such as now. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye for now.